Hello and welcome to Knowledge Trains. Alright, so in this lab, what are we doing is we are actually adding additional hard drives for this primary domain controller, because if I go to settings on this virtual machine, you can see that currently I only have one um, hard drive or virtual hard drive that is linked to it, and I do not have any more, meaning that there is no fault tolerance, there is no performance, there is no failover, and anything happens to this server or this hard drive, I will lose everything. So in real life, what we do is we actually go and install a hard drive, physical hard drive into servers, and that's how we add more hard drives to it. So as our lab in here is to make sure that this San Francisco primary domain controller is going to have RAID, where we will have fault tolerance and we will have performance. So we need to configure RAID 0, RAID 1, and RAID 5 to make sure that it is working. After configuring them, we will be testing it to make sure that it is working as expected. So to do that, let me quickly remove these extra ones that I had created before. So this is one hard drive. All we do is we right click and say add hard disk, create new hard disk. So VDI is good for us, dynamically allocated. What I will do is, as we are testing, I will simply use 1 GB of hard drive. So I'll just name it 1. In real life, you will name it whatever the name of the whatever the name of the hard drive you it is going to be. For example, if it is for the operating system, you can name it OS for operating system. If it's for data, you can name it data, so that it is really something that you will understand when you look at it. Because if you have a lot of operating systems, you will not be able to understand. So basically we are doing rate here. So I'll say rate and then data. So make it more um, understanding here. Create, and then I will add another hard disk here. Create new hard disk, VDI, dynamically allocated, and um, 1 GB again. And then I'll call it rate data 2. Since this was data 1, let me fix this. And one more so that we can configure RAID 5. So this will also be 1 GB and RAID data 2. Okay, it was the same name, so RAID data 3. Press OK here, so you can see we have one with 1 GB, 2, 3. Press OK here and start your virtual machine. You have to turn off your virtual machine because if you don't, you will not be able to create virtual hard disks. Alright, so after our server is started, we will simply log in. Once the server is started, how do I find out um, if my hard drives are there? So if I go here in my file explorer, you can see I still have one C drive. I don't have my data drives there, right? You have to initialize it. You have to scan in order to see all those hard drives that you added. So basically, when you add a physical hard drive in a production server, it will not show up in here. You have to go to computer management, and then in the computer management, we have the storage option, So if I click on the storage, you can see I have disk management. So everything that you do is through disk management. So here you can see that uh, it detected disk 1, disk 2, disk 3, right? So it is telling me that you must initialize a disk before actually accessing it. And then there are two different type of partition styles. One is MBR, Master Boot Record, and one is GBT. There are different partition styles where, for example, when it comes to compare them, storage space that GPT easily provides uh, sizes greater than 2 terabyte, where MBR only supports maximum of 2 terabyte and nothing above that. So there you go. MBR is something, if you are going to use more than 2 terabyte, that is not a good option. So you may have to go with with GPT. And then GPT is the latest standard for laying out the partition of hard disk. It makes use of globally unique identifier GUID to define the partition, and it is part of UEFI standard. This means that on a UEFI based system, which is required for Windows 8 secure boot feature, it is a must to use GPT. So basically, GPT is new, and then we have operating systems like Windows 10 these days. We are using secure boot, so we have to use GPT in there. All right, so we will use GPT and press OK. And once we press OK, you can see that all of the hard drives are online. If I go back here, I still don't see any drives here. So in order to see those, we have to actually create those. So the very first one is new simple volume. And then we have spanned volume, we have striped volume, we have mirrored, and then we have RAID 5. Alright, so I will stop the video here and then we will work on RAID 0 in our next video.